Hello and welcome to Trash to Track. Now in this episode I'm going to be looking at this Bachmann Class 47 that's been sent in by Lee. Now Lee says it needs a replacement PCB, which he's kindly supplied. The body securing screws are there, as are the couplings. So I'm going to take this 47 apart and demonstrate how to do that. The cab fittings are also loose. So Lee has taken this apart somewhat before sending it over. But there's the new PCB from Bachmann Spares, so I'll get that sorted out. And then lifting it up, the bogies are loose. So I've got to be careful here. Well, the bogie frame at least is loose. The bogies are still secured to the model. So like I said, this is a Bachmann 47 in Rail Freight red stripe, one of my favourite freight liveries. It looks absolutely lovely. But turning our attention to the existing PCB, it's this that's broken. This coil here has come off. And it would be a bit of a pain to solder, so Lee has supplied a new PCB for me to fit. I'm also going to service the model while it's in bits. But this thing here is what's broken. And it's not the first time I've come across this. These do seem to be a bit fragile. So I'll run through the process of replacing a PCB. Now, to the untrained, it could look as if it's going to be a big job. But it's really not that big a job, as I'm going to demonstrate. So the first thing I do is take the two screws out that hold the contacts in for the cab lighting. Once both of those screws are removed, there's a screw that holds the light unit in place as well into the cab floor. So this needs to be removed as well. And then the light unit simply pulls out of the plastic surround, like so. And all these wires are connected to the PCB. The motor wires are push fit with these black connectors, as you will see. So you slide the connectors off. And the motor wires, luckily, are not soldered, so these just pull away. It's the same with the switch wires. There's some switches in the battery boxes for the tail lights and the cab lights. And these are just push fit as well. So I'm going to remove these wires right out the way. In fact, those wires I took off there are actually pickup wires, not motor wires. But you'll see in a moment they're all push fit. I removed the two screws that hold the PCB to the die-cast chassis block. And that will allow me to lift it up. And these connectors here, these are like double connectors. There we go. Some of the tabs on the PCB are not used on this model. I'm not sure if they're for sound fitted or deluxe versions, but on this model there are some tabs that are not used. It is worth, if you're not confident, if you try this, take a photograph of the PCB and where the wires go, so that when you reassemble it, you know exactly what hole the wire should go in. So once all these black retaining pieces are removed, the wires will simply just pull out of the tabs. And keep them away for safekeeping. Also going to remove that bit of old tape there. But yeah, there we go. Look, you can see the wires have come out. Now I did take a photograph of how the wires went in and to which tabs they went into for ease of reconstruction when we put the new PCB in. But it is lucky that these weren't soldered this time, because that would have been a right pain trying to unsolder all these wires. So I remove all the wires, and then turning the model round, I'm just making sure that everything, you can see there the green wires push into these tabs. That one goes into the closest tab. It would have been helpful if Bachmann had used different colour wires, but they're green on one side and yellow on the other, so you really do need to make a note of where they go. And then the other end of the model was the same. Undo the lighting contacts for the cab roof and the headlamps. And now the PCB should just lift away. The wires are all, you've got to remove these two black retaining clips as well. There we go, they just push into two holes in the die-cast chassis. They keep the wires tidy, and there's one either side, and they just lever out gently with a flat-bladed screwdriver. They just pop out. Then you can remove the wires, and the old PCB There we go, and there is the old one. So that is the model stripped. And all for the sake of that little broken coil, which is now completely fallen off. But I don't know if it can be repaired. I'll keep this in my spares box to see if I can repair it in the future. But that's the old one set aside, and now it's time to fit the new one. And the new one is fitted in the exact reverse. Put the headlights in the headlight surround, screw that down. Put the cab lighting contacts on. Reconnect all the wires to the cab switches, etc. So I'm just orientating the PCB to make sure it's the right way round. Making sure it's a fit, because sometimes if it's for a different model, a different version of the 47, it might not fit. So make sure everything, the screw holes and everything line up as they should do. The PCBs from Bachmann do have numbers printed on them, so you can double check to make sure it is the same one. So as I said, that the headlights go into the cluster surrounds. The wiring is all tidied up into the channels in the die-cast chassis, as you just saw me take away. And then it is a case of gently going along and reassembling it. And this is where, when you take photographs of where the wires go, it comes in handy, because when you go to put the wires on the PCB that are not soldered, you're going to get them in the correct way. You could also label them. I've done that in the past using a bit of masking tape. Just tape the wires and write down which tab they go into. This wiring on the PCB was a little bit tangled, had to untangle it, which in itself is a bit nervous because I don't want to bend the wires and then lose one of the solder contacts. That would be a nightmare. But the cab lighting connections are put back on like so, and then the two small screws are then used to secure it back in place. So, like I said at the start of the video, to the untrained eye it may look like a big job changing one of these PCBs because of the complexity of it, but in reality it's not exactly the hardest thing to do. It's like anything that looks complex. If you do it methodically and slowly, you should do alright. The hardest thing to do, I found, was to get these wires back in the tabs and hold them there while you put the black retainers back on, because they had a habit of falling out because they are very thin wires. But work away along, and then eventually you'll end up with the new PCB in place as it is here. And now the model has been reassembled with its new electronics. Now what I'm going to do before I test it, I'm going to service the bogies, clean the wheels, fresh lubrication. There wasn't that much in the way of dirt on the wheels. There was a little bit of fluff here and there, but nothing too onerous. It was just a model that, you know, it was just a dirt build-up of a model that's been used. You can see there that there's not that much dirt on the wheels and the wheel backs. I also cleaned the pickups on the model. And this is what I really like about Bachmann diesels. They are very easy to work on. You know, everything is, the serviceability is very, very easy. You've just got to be careful when you unclip the bogie frames because you can end up breaking them. But if you work, you know, carefully, the serviceability of Bachmann diesels is second to none, really. None of the faffy clips that you get on the more modern Hornby diesel bogies. So the wheels just clip into the plastic bogie frames. They've got bearings built onto the axles that clip into the plastic. But when you do this, make sure that the pickups are behind the wheels. If you try and force the wheels down without the pickups being in the right place, you will end up bending them. I was just testing the grease there. The grease on the model is absolutely fine. There's no sign of it solidifying. I am just going to top it up with a small amount of Labelle 106. Because where I'd worked on and cleaned the bogie, I had cleaned a lot of the grease off from the drivetrain. I also add a small amount of oil to the bearings on the axles, just to make sure this model is correctly lubricated for when it goes back into service on Lee's layout. So just dab a small amount there, there's only a little amount. And then the bogie frame is clipped on in place by engaging the lugs at the front of the bogie. Those two little square lugs must be engaged in the bogie frame, and then it will just push down and clip into place. But make sure if you do this that it is lined up correctly. If you remember last week when we did that 40, that bogie frame was misaligned, But if you do it gently, make sure everything's lined up, it will snap back into place. And then I serviced the other bogie in exactly the same way. Just making sure everything's aligned. It was slightly out of alignment, which is easy to do on these. It is difficult, I find, the first time getting them on. And this is the second bogie. It just unclips like that. And again, thoroughly clean those wheels pickups. There's a bit of hair on this bogie, so I remove all that. And this, see, look, there's a bit of fluff. So once I've serviced that bogie and put it back together, I give it a bench test. And the model is running, so we've done something right. The headlights and tail lights are working okay. I do test the switches and the battery boxes, so everything is now wired up correctly. The last thing to do is to reassemble the model. Now, to do this, you need to put the cab inserts back in, which can be quite tight on these models. You need to open the body shell up, and the cabs clip into holes in the glazing, and there's also a line on the a mould line on the cab roof which will hold the cabs in place. Once the cabs are in place, you can put the body shell on, making sure it's the right way round. Now on this particular 47 it was relatively tight, one of the tightest body shells, but it will go on eventually. There we go, it just clips down. And then once the body shell is seated correctly and all the clips have engaged, you can then reassemble it using the body screws. Now there are two silver screws that screw up into the cab's inserts. They hold the cabs in place. And then there are 4 body side screws, one each side of each bogie. And that is Lee's 47 pretty much rebuilt. But the one thing I didn't do, I had to take the body off again because Lee actually supplied a decoder. So very gently and gingerly, I'll admit, I removed the blanking plate because I don't want to ruin that coil thing again and have to get another PCB. So I gently lever the 21 pin blanking plate out. You do have to do this gently with 21 pins because it is easy to bend the pins on a 21 pin decoder socket if you're not careful. And this blanking plate was exceedingly tight. I'm using the tweezers there just to try and lever it up slightly, but it was on there really tight, but it pops off eventually. And then I'm going to fit the 21 pin decoder that Lee supplied. 21 pin decoders will only go in one way. There is a blind hole and a missing pin, so where the 22nd pin would have been. So you line it up as such and the decoder will just push into place, and push it into place gently so that you don't damage those pins. And then I'll put the body shell back on again for the second time because I just liked struggling with it. But then once it's done, it was bench tested again. This is running on DC. The decoder supplied is DC compatible, and you can see there it's running. The headlights, cab lights, etc. are all working. So I'm happy that we've reactivated Lee's 47 back into operation. Now I do like this colour scheme, and I don't actually have a 47 in this colour. I've got 20s, 37s and 58s in this livery, but I do like that. There's the old PCB. I'm going to keep that as a spare part, like I said. Not much wrong with it other than that missing coil thing. But even the older Bachmann Class 47s still stand out as a good model. So let's get it over to the layout and give it a test run. Now I'm going to test run it on my rake of Hornby Texaco tanks. Now they may not be realistic to some, but when I was growing up as a kid, this red tank wagon was my favourite wagon. So I've assembled a rake of them and weathered them over the years. And I think there's about 22 behind this 47. If you've got an engine or anything you'd like to see featured, repaired, DCC fitted, repainted, please email me at dansmodelrailways@gmail.com. We'll have a look at getting it sent over, and who knows, it may even feature in an episode all of its own. I'll leave you now with some shots of Lee's 47 on the tank train with a Helgian network southeast one running in the opposite direction. And I'd like to thank you all for watching Trash to Track, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.